So here we're told that these three quadratic equations have a common negative root, and I'm going to call that alpha. And so if I start with the first quadratic equation, let's say the other root is alpha 1. So then I know that the product of these two roots is equal to c over a, which in this case would be 9. And then the sum of those two roots would be equal to minus b over a, or minus m. I'm going to do the same thing for the remaining two quadratics. The common root is alpha. I'm going to call that alpha 2, the other root, in the case of the second quadratic equation. That will be 17, just applying the same condition, would be minus n. And then finally we have, I'll call alpha 3, the other root for this third quadratic. That would be 35, and then alpha plus alpha 3 would be minus of m plus n. So from these three relationships, I noticed that alpha plus alpha 1 plus these two, because that's m minus n, would be equal to alpha plus alpha 3. And I can strike that out. The root, the common root becomes alpha 3 minus alpha 1 minus alpha 2. And now I'm going to use these relationships to figure out what alpha is. So alpha 3 is 35 over alpha. Alpha 1 is 9 over alpha. And then minus 17 over alpha. So this becomes, denominator is alpha. That's 26. So 9. I get alpha squared is 9. Alpha is plus or minus 3. Note we're told that it's a negative root. So alpha is minus 3. Now, I need to find 2m plus 3n. I'll plug that in. This root has to satisfy that. So I can use that to find what m and n are. So in this case, 9 minus 3m plus 0. 3m is 18. M is 6. And I'm going to do the same thing here to figure out n. So 9 minus 3n plus 17 is 0. So 3n is 26. I'm going to leave it in that form because they're asking for the sum of 2m plus 3n. 2m is 12, 3n is 26. They add up to 38. So that's the answer. Now I do want to comment, maybe there are other ways to do this question. This is exactly what I did by setting a timer and doing it under pressure in real exam conditions. And as you can see, of course, there are other ways to do this as well, but this is what made sense to me, and this is the reality of the real exam, where you start with one method and you see what happens. I mean, it's possible that maybe I would have hit some kind of a dead end, or maybe it got messy, and perhaps there was another way to go about it by perhaps manipulating these equations so we could get to this directly. That may still be the case here, and I'll update if there are easier ways to do this question, but that's what first came to my mind, and the answer is 38.